will do something exceptional, Metallica is a new iPhone, and Budokan finally stopped teasing their fans and announced a new album. Whoever the flip they are. Heavy metal is alive and well, so let's take a look at what keeps it going today. Here you go. Possibly one of the biggest rock and metal news of the week was the fact that Dave Mustaine finally stopped going around in circles and just answered a journalist's question. So now it's official. Dave Mustaine has confirmed that the former Megadeth guitarist Marty Friedman will join the band on stage during their gig in Tokyo later this month. The concert will take place at the legendary Budokan on February 27th and will be live streamed all across the world, as well as of course being available on demand for a couple of days afterwards. But the craziest thing is that despite a very long and a very prosperous career, this will actually be the very first time Megadeth will perform at the legendary Budokan, which of course is very well known for every Judas Priest and Iron Maiden fan. And this, by itself, is already a thing to be excited for. But the fact that the legendary Marty Friedman, who hasn't played with Megadeth for more than 23 years, will join the band on stage, of course makes this a very special occasion for every Megadeth fan. When Marty said, "Hey, I can play at this gig," I thought, whoa, this is so magnificent. It's gonna be so much fun to get Kiko and Marty together because they're both geniuses on guitar. So this is like a gigantic birthday and Christmas present for me, said Dave Mustaine in an interview to Rolling Stone. Well, I'm not really sure if this qualifies as a Christmas gift, but I do agree that it will be absolutely amazing to see both Kiko and Marty on one stage. Overall, I gotta say that the current Megadeth guitar player situation is a rather weird one for me personally. Because on one hand, being an old fart, I, just like with pretty much every other band, once in a while just think to myself, oh, why can't they just bring the old lineup back? But on the other one, well, Kiko is just killing it!
Yes, it's true.
And since, according to Dave Mustaine, he actually asked Kiko about how he felt about this prior to inviting Marty on stage, and confirmed that Kiko is not jealous at all, and he's very confident in his guitar playing skills, so I'm just really excited to see one of the classic Megadeth solos being transformed into a Judas Priest style dual guitar attack. By the way guys, if this is your first time on the channel, please consider subscribing and joining our amazing heavy metal community we're building here. And if this is not your first time and you still haven't subscribed, well, just do the same thing. Swedish Melodic Death Metal band In Flames finally released their highly anticipated album, Foregone. For months, millions of In Flames fans around the world have been holding their breath in anticipation and patiently awaiting the return of the classic In Flames sound, as the band was releasing a single after a single from their upcoming 14th studio record. And so now, when Foregone is out, we can finally officially state that no, In Flames did not return to their classic 1990s sound. Foregone is a very modern sounding record, on which the band has taken their listener on a journey through their entire career. And yes, it is absolutely true that not just spare moments, but also several songs on Foregone are very reminiscent of the early In Flames sound. Yet at the same time, the other half of them is a direct follow-up to the sound the band has been producing in the past 10 years or so.
Your side, there are no winners. Hell is overcrowded and heaven's full of sin. We gotta end the transmission. Nothing makes sense and we're running out of green.
Yet at the same time, what distinguishes this record from, let's say, its predecessor is its aggression. Since on this one, Bjorn Gallad actually produces some of the sickest riffs he's done in a very long time. And in addition, Anders Friedman actually sounds like, well, Anders Friedman.
It cannot be.
Which, in my opinion, makes this album much stronger than, let's say, I, The Mask.
All the stars are on that course. None of them make sense. We are all so unnecessary.
Overall, I gotta say that Foregone is a rather unique album, as it looks like on this one In Flames are trying to satisfy the needs of all the generations of the In Flames fans equally, including those ones who scream everywhere that the true In Flames has ended on Clayman, and those who consider its re-release being stronger than the original, and who are clearly wrong. But still, despite the fact that In Flames did not really fully return to their original sound of the 1990s, Foregone is in fact a really strong record and it definitely deserves your attention. Although in my personal opinion, I actually don't see myself re-listening to it in the future in its entirety, but rather instead select specific jams from this record which will remind me of the In Flames I fell in love with, and add them to the extensive library of my personal favorite In Flames tracks. By the way guys, as always, please don't hesitate to comment on anything you hear or see in this video, and especially if you disagree with me, because the whole point of our channel and community is of course to start a conversation. But alright, let's continue. New Metallica is like a new iPhone. Ex-Megadeth bassist Dave Allison, when asked whether he heard the new Metallica songs, those of course being Lux Eterna and Screaming the Word You Are Not Allowed to Pronounce on YouTube, which the band of course has released earlier this year, compared a release of a new music by Metallica to a release of a new iPhone. And this, in my opinion, is the best comparison I've ever heard. Comparing Metallica to Apple, Dave Allison pointed out that just like a release of a new iPhone, release of pretty much anything new by the thrash metal legends, whom, by the way, according to Dave Allison, such bands as Megadeth, Slayer, Anthrax, Pantera, and many others, pretty much everything too, is always a very special occasion in the world of heavy metal music. Well, for a band who's been around for more than 40 years, it is rather hard to come up with something absolutely new that will not essentially repeat something that the band has already done before, and at the same time wow the new generation of fans. Just like with the new iPhone, new Metallica will always bring something that the majority of the Metallica fans will absolutely love. And just in case you don't agree with that statement, don't point your fingers at me, it was Dave Allison who said that. But I actually think that whether you like Metallica or not, this comparison is in fact a very precise one. Since just like with an iPhone, if the previous release did not wow you, I don't think that Metallica can do anything at this point in their career to make you buy their record. And it actually works both ways, since let's be honest here, if you are a Metallica fan, at this point you will buy pretty much anything the band will put out. During this short break, I just wanted to remind you guys that the war in Ukraine is still going on and there are people dying here every day. And please don't you dare tell me about how I mix heavy metal with politics. This is not about politics, no matter how hard Russian propaganda is trying to portray it to be so. This is about human lives. So I just wanted to thank you guys all for all your support you're doing for me, for this channel, and for the heavy metal community of Ukraine. The mystical enigma of a metal band Sleep Token finally stopped teasing their fans and announced a release of their new album. After releasing the first couple of singles, the most viral heavy metal band of today finally announced the release of their third studio album, Take Me Back to Eden. And just like every self-respecting band, decided to celebrate this occasion with the release of a new single, Vor. Back to Eden will be the third and the final chapter of a trilogy, which has started in 2019 with the album Sundownen, which of course has become the debut record by this band, and continued in 2021 with the record This Place Will Become Your Tour, after which another absolutely unique masked band has continued growing their fan base, mostly online.
So let's go.
Back to Eden will consist of 12 tracks and will be released on May 19th on Spine Farm Records. But of course, just like with pretty much every new record of today, you can already pre-order it wherever you buy music. I guess here I kinda have to come clean, since Sleep Token is actually one of those bands which I have seen gazillion news about, but I could never understand who the flip they are and what are they doing in my newsfeed.
Yeah, me too.
Since a lot has and will be written about this band, as for example one of their songs from the upcoming record, The Summoning, actually charted at #1 at top viral songs on Spotify. And this of course is a great achievement. But at the same time, even though I totally understand where the hype is coming from, and I actually do agree that the song composition on most of the tracks is actually quite unique, after trying to get into this band and understand why everyone is talking about it, I unfortunately quickly lost interest after listening for more than 2 songs. But at the same time, that is actually why I'm excited for them to release a full-scale album. Because yes, I most likely will give in to the pressure of hype and will listen to it, but here I'm actually excited to see the full picture the band would like to paint with their music. As let's be honest here, they have a pretty genius marketing team. So at this point, I just really want to see how they will supplement it with a full-scale album rather than individual single releases. Here I just wanted to remind you that the Metal Digest is something new we're doing on the channel as a part of the Metal Pilgrim outreach program into the new depth of heavy metal, in addition to Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. So if you have any suggestions about how to improve this digest series and which bands you'd like me to talk about, please let me know in the comments.
Write that down, write that down!
And now, as always, let's take a look at 5 new metal albums which were released this week. So technically this is the newest rock and metal you can possibly listen to. And which new music were you listening to this week? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!